NXT. Here we go, my boys. We got a video here for NXT. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've said this multiple times. I'm not going to stop saying it because it's not popular or if it's clickbaity. This is not about that. This is about what we get when it comes to the developmental brand. Honestly, if you look how NXT is, and you've heard me say this before, this is not the booking that HBK has ever done. This is not his booking. I'm not going to tell you ever, and I've said this multiple times in multiple videos, ever have I ever said that HBK was one of the best bookers there is, because he's not. He's only done the basic 101, say a little golden era, a little attitude era booking. He's done a little bit of each. That's the truth. Yeah, you could say he's thrown a little bit of black and gold NXT into it a little bit during his time before he was told to do this. Because let's make it clear, the partnership with TNA, when it happened, that is when you see that HBK's booking changed. Let's make it very clear. He was told by the bosses over his damn head, Triple H included, told him, we want it booked like this. Book it this way. And this is what we get from an NXT. I know I've heard JD say NXT is not great. Now, I've never said it was. Neither is Raw SmackDown for that matter. And I've heard a little bit of Alex. He's getting excited, but he hasn't done any NXT reviews. If he is so excited about NXT because of the partner and ID program, why doesn't he start doing NXT reviews? I'm one of the very few who has consistently done NXT reviews. When it was bad and when it was good. I'm not the best at it. I never would tend to be. But I am a passionate wrestling fan. I'm a passionate reviewer and podcaster. So what you get here is honesty. And honesty is that the product is not the same anymore. When you see Shawn Michaels booking, it's not the same anymore. And in some cases, it's gotten worse. Now, I'm not saying before this happened, it was great. I told you just a minute or so ago, he's only doing basic 101 booking that's from the golden age of wrestling, which he came up in. The Attitude Era wrestling, which he was working in before his back went out. And a little bit of NXT when he was already helping to do that with his best friend, Paul Levesque. That is what he's doing. And a little bit of Vince that's thrown in there. That's where the golden age comes in. But let's make it clear. You could tell the difference between when Vince booked it, when Triple H is now booking it, and when he was allowed to do it himself without that much interference. And you can see the difference. This is different. Let's get into it. Let me give it to you like this. 6-man tag, the first match. Chase U versus Dark State. I'm sorry. I see Cutler there from, I understand that he was in LFG. I don't know why I boxed that. Well, yeah, I do know because I'm dyslexic. I'm terrible at names, numbers, and reading. But Cutler is there. You see Cutler as part of Dark State. They decided he's earned the right to be working. Fine, great. But Dark State sucks. This is the truth. Dark State sucks. I cannot tell you that it's great because it's not. I don't like Dark State because they're taking a little bit of the Nexus, a good influence from the Shield, and they're throwing it back at us like this. It's played out. I'm sorry. That's what it looks like. That's what it is. I don't care about Dark State. The only way they could have made it interesting was that little segment they had a couple of weeks ago talking about who was in it. Instead of using Tony D and Crucifino and these stacks, we got that as well. A week after that, that would have helped to know who these guys are. Because yes, Lennox is there. Why do I give a damn about Lennox? He was barely used as it was. I want to know who these damn guys are. And I didn't for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. Just like when it came to the Shield. But to make it clear, none of them are Dean Ambrose. None of them are Roman Reigns, and none of them are Seth freaking Rollins. Even back then, you could tell they were very distinct. These guys feel like they're biting off what happened with Seth, Roman, and a little bit of Dean. And I'm not feeling them. So I see this match, I say, okay, they're good wrestlers. Fine. They won the match because Chase U doesn't listen to Andre Chase. The guys who are working with Andre don't listen to Andre. They have short tempers. They got their asses whooped for it. So the question here is, what does this really give Andre Chase and these guys who are representing Chase University, which, to be honest, should not exist? At this point, they should be focusing on making Andre Chase something else. But they've fallen right back into Andre Chase being the runner of Chase U with two new guys there, which at this point, I don't know who they are. I'm not feeling them. You guys tell me below. Next match, we got basically a Heritage Cup match without the Heritage Cup. And it's for, can I be free of the No Quarter Catch crew? What? I don't understand. I didn't see the No Quarter Catch crew have a contract where basically Charlie Dempsey is over them all and they can't leave the No Quarter Catch crew. I would have thought they would start a story where Charlie Dempsey says to Miles Bourne, okay, you want to do this by yourself? All right. You're done. You're not going to have us by your side. But understand, when you're done, do not expect us to help you. That would have been a better story. But now you got the No Quarter Catch crew facing one another. That Charlie Dempsey, it didn't feel like Charlie was last week telling Miles Bourne, okay, you want to leave? It doesn't feel like you're ready yet. He didn't do that. Yes, he kind of said it, but instead of building up into this match, they just wanted to get it over with. And that's the problem. No build into a story of the No Quarter Catch crew losing a member of it when the leader of it is saying, look, I don't feel like you're ready. And instead of letting Miles Bourne have a couple of matches, then he's being questioned if he really can handle them because he has to struggle at it. And then finally getting a match against Charlie Dempsey to prove to him and to Heights and Red Sinclair he is really ready. We didn't get that. And this felt empty. Yes, Miles Bourne won the last few seconds of match 1. He gets kicked in the gut in match 2. Then Charlie gets in match 3. And then you get Miles Bourne winning in match 4. And then it's over. It feels like they just want to get rid of it. And after so long, these guys have been together. This is how you end it? This is how you end it. And I'm not saying that Charlie Dempsey should give him a hug or something. But it feels like if Charlie has been the driving force behind the No Quarter Catch crew, where for me, the best match Charlie had in 2024 was against, guess who? In TNA versus the husband of Jordan Grace. And I'm like, you couldn't give him a story when he was going up. No, I'm getting angry here. I'm getting hangry here. Trying not to get hangry. But you could have done a story for Charlie Dempsey in TNA. But you didn't do it. Here, again, you could be doing a story with Charlie Dempsey. And you don't do it. Jonathan Gresham could have been an actual story after that match, which I believe was one of the best technical matches of 2024. Hands down, it was that damn good. It was so good. But no, you didn't go anywhere with it. You didn't set up for anything, not for Bound for Glory or any of the other TNA Plus shows. No. Now here, when Miles Bourne supposedly has reached the point where he believes he's ready to go. You don't build the story of Charlie Dempsey as the leader of this faction. You don't do it. And then you rush this out so you can just get rid of it, either because Miles Bourne is going to the main roster, which I don't believe he is. I believe they'll let him do a couple of matches and he'll probably be sent away because, as you already know, I'm sure you already know, more people are going to be released. Because next to Carlito being released, next to Sarah Logan being released, we just got R-Truth, who I already made a gut report on, where everyone is saying, why in the blue fuck would you release him? Why didn't you give him a Legends deal? I didn't say that in my gut report, but I'm like, why didn't you? I understand why people are saying it. He is that valuable to the company where he gives the locker room such a good sense. And pretty much, as I've been saying for a long time now, saying for more than a year, there is no more WWE. At the time, it was TKO WWE. And Ari Emanuel running it, and legitimately is a businessman who doesn't care about pro wrestling. He cares about using pro wrestling to make money. It is not that he cares about pro wrestling. Get me angry. Every time I get angry, I botch. Look, we now know Ari is no longer owning TKO Group Holdings. He doesn't own UFC, and he doesn't own Endeavor. Silver Lake does. He is just the CEO of the company. He sold it. That's the truth. Silver Lake owns WWE now. So at this point, it's even more apparent that we have nothing but people who care about this, and they do not care about anything but this. The product can be exactly as it is now, and believe me, it will get worse. And in one day, sooner or later, if you don't know, you will now know, WWE does not need to stay a wrestling company to make money. As I said, it can transition to UFC one day and drop pro wrestling. As long as it makes money, the people who run it don't give two fucks about pro wrestling. It doesn't make a difference about Triple H or anybody else that runs it. They will transition away from pro wrestling to real wrestling or real fighting, if that will give them more of a profit. So this is what you get. So Miles Bourne will either do some matches on NXT, and maybe he'll be released, or he may go to the main roster, which I don't believe either. But it's just me. Moving on. We get a 8-man tag, which felt so sloppy. Not because of the match itself, but you're bringing on the The Varsity Project from Evolve. Don't know who they are. You bring in, Sean Legacy, which we've only seen a couple of times on NXT TV. Don't know who he is. And then, yes, you do bring in Dorado Kid. I do know him. You bring in Dragon Lee. I do know him. Devon Evans, we already know. But you got so many other people you don't know. You don't build up into the story. And pretty much you just have a match that's going to lead into this weekend where Worlds Collide happen and the next pay-per-view for WWE. And I'm like, makes my scalp itch. We're going to have Worlds Collide and the next pay-per-view in the same day. And it's stupid. And just in case you know, just in case you don't know, you see I'm so angry. I will do Worlds Collide on Sunday. I will watch it and then I will review it. I am not going to watch it on the same day because I got stuff to do. So Saturday, Worlds Collide comes on at 3. I will not be watching. I got some stuff to do. Sunday, I will watch it and then I will review it. But I'm like, really? You couldn't do this on a Sunday. Moving on. Oh, almost forgot. It was, I forgot who won. I completely forgot who won that 8-man tag. If I'm taking a guess, I think it was The faces, I don't remember. I'm blanking. Let's get to everything else here. All right. What did we get from JC James' segment? We got a whole bunch of people, which didn't matter. Jordynne Grace didn't matter. Then we had someone named Red, I believe her name is Red. What is it? Lenya Red, I believe. We got Miss Parker. We got Kiana Jordan. We got Lola Vice. We got Lash Legend finally showing up. All wanting that damn title that JC James just won. And tell me what was that on her lip? It looks like her lipstick ran on her lip as she's talking about how great she was, and she's pulling the trigger to win against a Stephanie Vaquer, who's now on the main roster, which is stupid. I'm saying it now. I know I'm not going to be agreed with. Stephanie Vaquer going onto the main roster with no character development other than just knowing where she was from Chile. And that's it. That's it. She has no development. And worse yet, seeing that JC James won the title when you could have just let Jordynne Grace have it, because I don't think they're going to bring up Jordynne Grace that quickly. It would have made more sense for Jordynne to have it than JC. And understand, I'm not even against JC James. I'm not. But Jordynne was a better choice. And they actually did that, which made no sense. And then you have this big smudge of a fight, and then finally Mariah May shows up. Yes, Mariah, she doesn't even say what her name is. She just shows up as Glamorous. She's now on NXT, which we heard some rumors about it. I couldn't confirm those rumors were real, even though people said they were real. That's why I didn't say it was or wasn't real. I just said, you haven't heard it yet, but you never know. And now she shows up on NXT TV. And there's nothing wrong with it. But now, here's the thing. If you, as NXT, and more importantly, Triple H, here's the thing for me. Remember what happened to Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints. He supposedly has larynx damage right now, so he's out. But the thing is, which Mariah May looks like they're trying to line her up for that. The same thing as Ricky Saints. It's trash. If they do exactly the same thing for Mariah May they did for Ricky, it is so stupid. Why are they rushing people on NXT TV? Why? You can't build these people up anymore? Ricky Saints is a great talent. Great when it comes to the mic. Very good in the ring. But why did you rush him to become the NXT North American champion? I never agreed with that. And now he's not champion. It's Ethan Page. And now Mariah May comes in. Mariah May, you see me botching here. I know this girl is going to be fast-tracked. And that is the most stupidest thing you can do for Mariah May, NXT, and then for the main roster. They are rushing people to the main roster. And you wonder what's going to happen to them. This is what people are not getting when it comes to WWE, which is not WWE, but I'm shortening instead of saying Silver Lake WWE. And you know what? I think I will do that. From now on, if I don't forget, Silver Lake WWE. It's not TKO, it's Silver Lake. They rush everything because they want to just do quick entertaining that will bring in the most money. And does that help pro wrestling? No. Watch. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, fine. You can tell me, dude, you were wrong. They built up Mariah May. Fine. I'm fine to eat crow. I can't be accurate every single time. But, as you guys know, and I said it when it came to Jey Uso, sooner or later, he was going to be a champ. And they were going to stick it on him, and it was going to be there for a while. It would be great if they did the storyline with the bloodline to make him the tribal chief, but they didn't want to go there because of Roman. But I knew they would make him a champion, and I knew it would be a good long one, and I even talked about it. Look what happened. He's now champ. Look at Trick Williams. I called it when it came to Trick. No one liked Trick. JD didn't like Trick. Alex didn't like Trick. And I don't even think Solomon's has thought about it, but I knew that Trick could do it. And look, not only has he been champ, he's now TNA champ, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. So I've been able to call it pretty decently well. I may not be perfect, but I'm telling you right now, Mariah May, getting so angry. I don't want to see Mariah May be rushed like they did with Ricky Saints. But it looks like they may do it. It looks like they're going to rush her as quickly as possible into becoming a champion, either North American or the Women's World Champion. And I'm like, why? Why? Why rush? Because you're doing it better than AEW, who's been doing things? You're acting no different at this point. Moving on. Next thing I'm going to talk about. Tony D. I didn't say anything before because when it came to Crucifino talking about D'Angelo Dinero, well, not. I really, Tony D and D'Angelo Dinero, Big Pope. I really wish the Pope would be working with WWE. I would love it if the Pope was working with WWE and would work with Tony D. I think he would really make his character really good. That's the reason why I always think about him. But last week, I didn't say anything about when he showed up much. But here, when you see that he is trying to prove to Tony D'Angelo, I am your friend. I am loyal. Tony D says, I don't believe you. And what did Crucifino did? He went without the approval from the Don and made it very clear, I got us a match to prove that we can work together. And what happened? He said, you got a match without putting it through me? I'm the Don. I'm the head of the family. And Crucifino made it very clear. As of this moment now, you don't have a family. And he walks away. And it's very poignant there because the family's shattered. And at this point, the question is going to be, when Stacks comes, is he going to have a new family that Crucifino and Rizzo are going to join? Because that's the way it looks. It looks like Stacks is going to get his own family. And the question is going to be, will Crucifino join? Or will Rizzo join? That's going to be the next step. Now, another family, the Culling. When it comes to, what did I think about, this is a hard one. When it comes to Jensen, he's always been like, can he really get over or not? And at one point, when it came to him working with Fallon Henley and Josh Briggs, it looks like to a point he was. And then the tease that he may go to TNA never happened. So seeing that Izzy Dane nails him in the back with a chair and says that he wasn't really into this and he shouldn't be a part of it, I'm like, okay, I'm hearing Sean Spears say, you're damn right. If you're not invested in this, you should leave. And in this case, leaving means getting nailed in the back with a chair. So what does this mean for Jensen? Is he done with WWE? I don't know. Maybe they're going to make a story with him going back to Josh Briggs and Yuri Mora. I believe his name is Yuri Mora, since he came back. I don't know. Maybe. But to be honest, I'm wondering that he may be finished. They may actually just get rid of him because they really don't see much in him. I could be wrong, but this is the way it's going. We know more people are going to be released. So, when it comes to like R-Truth and Carlito, where they did not renew their contracts or their contract extensions, they just released them and basically not doing the work to re-sign them. Jensen may be next. Final thing to talk about. The match. That if it went another way, I would say this is the most stupidest shit you could see. And that is Santana versus a Trick Williams. Now, we had Elijah in the crowd with his guitar. We didn't see anybody else. And we got a good match. Now, I want to make it clear, all the matches were not bad here. They were all decent matches. But here's the thing. I'm saying this right now. If Trick did not retain, I would have thought this was the most stupidest thing, and you're undercutting TNA and devaluing their damn title, because he should not job Trick Williams. He should stay champ until the right time to drop that title, which I believe is Slammiversary. Slammiversary would be the best time to drop that title. And I know that's a couple of months away, but I do believe that would be the best thing for TNA, to maintain that title with Trick on it, keep showing it on NXT TV, trying to keep awareness of TNA in the minds of the fans that usually watch WWE only, WWE, and that is Silver Lake WWE. I'm like, if he doesn't win, and they don't do this, this is the stupidest thing that TNA allowed themselves to get involved in. But what did we get? We get KC and AJF attacking him, so he gets trick shotted twice and he loses. And what sparked everything that allowed Trick to be able to get out of the way, get the ref out of the way, so AJ and KC Navarro could do this, was that Trick destroyed the guitar of Elijah. So against all odds, which should be coming on the 14th, I believe, Elijah would get his shot against Trick Williams. So, was this constructed properly? Yes. Trick should win, even if he has to cheat. Or in this case, someone screwed over and made sure that he could not win, and that is Santana. He didn't get a chance to win. He got cheated. So he will go through both of them. He's going to go through Casey again. He's going to go through AJ Francis. And then he will focus himself right back on Trick, which is fine. And I'm hoping it will be at Slammiversary. I think that would be the best payout, not just for Santana, not just for Trick Williams. He'll get a chance to headline a pay-per-view of another promotion, which will give him an opportunity to really learn something, because he's not just going over to TNA and just doing a match. He's talking with the people there, and he's learning stuff that he would not just learn in NXT. But TNA could truly gain something setting this up for Slammiversary. Yes, it's still dealing with the lowest tier of Silver Lake WWE. Let's make it very clear. NXT is the lowest tier. You got Raw, SmackDown, NXT. And then under that, you got Evolved and Speed. But still, you still are dealing with Silver Lake WWE. You are still dealing with your brand, your company, which is also controlled by another corporation, but at least you'll be seen on another network. Your title is seen on another network. People who are either just tuning in for the first time or returning viewers are watching it. So if they go there at the Slammiversary, not just end this at Against All Odds, you'll have more people looking at you. Look, I have my qualms against TNA, but I'm not going to tell you that TNA has not been doing some really good work. They've been selling out the arenas they've been in. Most of the time they couldn't. Most of the time they came maybe 2/3 capacity, half capacity. One of the reasons why they always kept the lights out wasn't just for ambiance. They couldn't sell out all their arenas. Lately, they've easily been selling out their arenas. They have. I still am not fond. They don't wire up the fans in the arena so you can hear it better, but it is what it is. But I cannot take anything away. They have been working hard. And yes, I'm not fond of hearing that they must now get permission to smack someone. And I don't care if it's Tessa Blanchard who got a concussion. You're a wrestler. Deal with getting hurt. That is what happens in pro wrestling. You eventually get hurt. And executives are the ones who made that decision, not pro wrestling promoters or people who worked in production. They're network executives. But it's just me. Peace.